So you've seen an 1,100% increase in your loans, right? You were closing one a month. You're now got 11 in your pipeline in 90 days. Hey, Loan Atlas family, it's Josh Metal, and I am here with Loan Atlas member Scott Taylor. Scott, thanks for spending a few minutes with me today, my friend.
It is totally my pleasure, Josh. I'm so excited about this.
So I'm just chatting with Scott before we hit record, and I asked Scott, how many years he has experience in the mortgage business. One. He's been in the mortgage business for 1 year, and in his first year, he closed 12 transactions, which that's great. He served 12 families in his first year. He got off the runway, and then I asked him, well, what does your loan pipeline look like today? And he says, I have 11 loans in the pipeline today, as we're March of 2025. And any originator knows this is still as challenging a market as I've seen in 25 years in this industry. So first of all, Scott, congratulations, my friend. What an amazing victory for you. And what do you attribute this incredible path that you're on in terms of the number of families you're working with?
I think once you figure out, Josh, that education is everything in this business, I think when you understand that and then you embrace that, I think that's been my little come to Jesus moment with myself. That now that I've started to do this and I joined the Loan Atlas and I have all these tools at my disposal, it'd be a shame to spend that money and waste it. So I literally do it. In fact, I was looking earlier today at I'm third this month on the leaderboard, and it upsets me that I'm third on the leaderboard.
In your entire company, you're third.
Yeah. Well,
that's amazing.
I'm third on the Loan Atlas leaderboard on looking at the stuff.
Oh, I see. I understand. All the content you've digested, you're third of the, that's incredible. And when you say education, are you talking about you as a mortgage advisor being educated, or are you talking about educating your clients? Like, what does that mean to you?
It means both. Quite frankly. I did not have the skill set and knowledge to be able to pass on knowledge to others. So before you can teach, you got to be the student.
That's right.
And so I really set the first. I joined Loan Atlas in January. So,
oh wow, amazing.
So it's literally everything for me is like in infancy stage. So, but I've tried to get as much into me and into my mindset so that I can now take that knowledge and take it to potential and future clients.
So you've seen an 1,100% increase in your loans, right? You were closing one a month. You're now got 11 in your pipeline in 90 days. What specifically did you take out of the Atlas and start putting in your marketing, your interactions with your customers, your conversations with your referral partners? Like, what did you put to work that has yielded you this kind of results?
I hadn't thought about 1,100%. That I then put in.
That's a big number, man.
It's a big number. Yeah. Makes me sound like I'm really good at this, and I'm really not. I think here's the deal.
Getting there.
I love people. I don't think that you can be a successful loan officer unless you like people. You can't fake that. One of the things that I've done, I picked up a piece where I make phone calls. I mean, I came from a training from a guy who was in retail that all he does is sit there and bang out calls all day long. And that's not me. I have to have interaction. I have to face-to-face interaction. It would drive me nuts. So I might bang out phone calls, but the only purpose for banging out a phone call, Josh, is literally to get on a Zoom. Because I think if you're able to put out and show how excited you are about wanting to educate somebody to help them make what could be the biggest decision financially they're ever going to make in their life, that doesn't come across for me on the phone. It comes across when you can look me in the eye and you see. And then there's nothing fake about it. Everybody goes, you can't be that way. You can't like people all the time. I do. I do. I want to help people. And that's, for me, that's the key to everything. Everything else falls in second place behind serving others.
People can feel it when you have it on your heart. You know, when you have on your heart that you're there to serve and you're there to educate and you're there to help them make a good decision and you're not trying to control the outcome. I think a lot of times we get stuck in fancy scripts or self-serving intentions. But when you really feel that, and then you, like you said, you've done the work where you can be the teacher and teach them, it brings down all the walls, doesn't it?
Tyler Osby said, real money in this business is the education of your clients. I mean, that one I took to heart. I took to heart in a hurry.
Yeah.
And you could see it. Tyler's the same way. I mean, I wouldn't get what I get from Tyler if I can't see his face and see his excitement when he's educating. If you're just doing that in an audio, it doesn't come across the same. It just doesn't. Yeah. And I appreciate him. I appreciate Tim Berheim. We're both Dodger fans, which is a big deal in my world. I also discovered, though, here's a little insider tip that you may not know. Tim is so great public speaking. He really is. And everything that he does, he puts it in a context and delivers it in such a way that you can't not understand what he's saying. But I did find that I could put the speed up to 1.75 on Tim. It's so deliberate that I can digest everything he says and speed it up almost double. So, little insider tip for those of you who are joining and you want to understand with Tim Berheim, turn it up a little bit. It will help.
He's such a deliberate, intentional guy, and he speaks with, specificity and cadence. I'm just kind of like, but we all have our different magic.
Josh Burris, you can't do that with.
Oh, yeah.
Excited, and he already speaks pretty quick. So yeah, you don't speed him up. You have to keep him at 1.
Good news. You could slow down to a half or 1.75.
And they can't do that with me either. So I get it.
Yeah. The other thing that you said that I don't want to go past without mentioning was you say that you only bang the phones so that you can get to the Zoom or I presume in person, but you want to have that connection. The best originators that I know run their business that way. They're driving. If they can get the very first phone call off the phone call and onto Zoom, they'll do it. But certainly every meaningful interaction after that, where they're trying to teach, it's through either in person or on Zoom. So tell me a little bit about that. When you get them on Zoom, what are you doing? A little bit about your sales process.
Well, the first thing in my process is actually just flat out getting to know. I mean,
Connection.
I do not put graphics behind me. This is a you and me conversation. And by the end of that conversation, Josh, I want you to understand that you really need me on your team. It's important for you that you understand that I am your best option and I am the guy that's going to get in there and fight for you. If I don't convey that, then I didn't do my job. Everything else can fall second.
You do that by asking questions, or what's the mechanism by which you do that?
I was historically a guy who went through questions just to get through questions, but the ask open-ended questions. There's the key. You have to, and it's something that I've had to learn, actually. I would ask questions just to further the conversation. When you truly are about them and you're truly asking an open-ended question, you have to be an even better listener, because if you're not a good listener after asking the open-ended question, you're going to miss something.
That's right.
And that's something that, fact, I have found out and discovered that I have done on a couple of different occasions and had to go back and apologize because I would remember it, but I would not remember it when it was going on. So yes, the open-ended questions are literally huge for me now. I want to know more in depth. I need to go past that first layer and get down 2 or 3 of what really matters to them.
So what Tim has always taught me, and I've been a member of his private coaching group for years, is it's a 3-step process. Number one, you're going to ask those open-ended questions. An open-ended question is anything that the response isn't a yes or a no, right? So I wouldn't say, do you like the Dodgers, Scott? I would say, tell me about your earliest memory when you remember falling in love with the Dodgers. That's a good freaking question. That could elicit a 20-minute response from Scott. And that's what you need for that deeper conversation level. Then the next thing after you ask those open-ended questions is you want to practice where you are totally locked in with them. And it's called active listening. Active listening is such an intensive level of listening that I could almost tell the next word that Scott's going to say. Like if he stopped mid-sentence, I'm so in tune with his communication, I could probably pick up what he was going to say. Katrinka Condi has a practice for this, who's one of the best originators that I know. She shuts down all the windows of her other screens and she turns her phone down. So, she's got 3 screens up, but the only one that she puts everything down. So there's a picture of her family. All the messengers are shut down and she's just looking at that person. That's active listening. She's shutting off the distractions. So it's the open-ended question, it's the active listening, and then the third piece is perception checking. So if somebody's going to tell you why living in a cul-de-sac is so important to them because their little brother got hit in a car accident on the corner and they're never going to get that out of their mind and now they have kids, you're going to perception check that. So based on what I heard you say, living in a cul-de-sac is a 10 out of 10 importance to you because A, B, C, D. Did I get that right? And the person's like, yes. And you heard me. And there's more. Maybe they'll deepen the story. Those 3 things, if you master that in communication, you'll be an awesome originator. Like that is the original formula for connection right there.
Well, and Osby's so good about that too.
Is he great?
He's the best at everything. If I'm hearing you right, here's what you said. And it's kind of like tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. That's a lot of the same type of manner, except you're doing it from a listening standpoint instead of a speaking standpoint.
That's the perception checking right there. And it's a master move because it tells people, I heard you, I see you, and it gives them the space if there's anything else that they want to tell you that's really important to them about this house or whatever, it gives them the space to kind of digest and be able to tell you that. So Scott, I'm so impressed at you that in 90 days you've digested, you're the third best student in terms of the content that you've digested, and your numbers are just exploding. If there was a tip or a module inside of the Loan Atlas that has given you the most amount of juice, what would you advise people to do?
I didn't come in with any preconceived notions, honestly. So I literally am like section 1, section 2. There's a method to, I need to learn. I came to this knowing I need to learn everything. I don't learn some things. I need to learn everything. So this journey with Loan Atlas won't stop because not only will you hear everything and you'll listen to it, but then I've already gone back in several occasions and gone back and re-listened to something or re-watched something that I kind of feel like something came up and I didn't quite deal with that right. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that again and listen again. So
what I'm hearing you say is you digested it, you internalized it, you tried it. You're like, I grazed the baseball there, right? And then you went back and listened to it again, and then you tried it with another iteration. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. The more times I've done that, the more improved I've gotten in my process. And I'm still learning my process. I don't know if I'll have a process down by the end of 25, to be honest with you, Josh. But I know that every day is a journey and every day is a challenge to get to that end place.
Well, this will be I'm going into my 25th year in the mortgage industry. And what I will tell you is I probably am on my 50th iteration of my process. And it just keeps evolving and getting better, right? Like when we moved to Zoom, new process, the tools that come out every day, like, we were talking about MBS Highway before we jumped on the call, and the strike rate tracker inside the MBS Highway. We're showing every customer that when we decide to work together, I'm going to manage your mortgage indebtedness for life. The liability side of the balance sheet is now my responsibility, and here's how I track it, right? That's a new thing that I didn't have in my process a year ago because it was just created. So you'll constantly be iterating and improving as long as you're around a community that is creating and innovating. It's always just going to get better.
Well, I think that another big takeaway for me out of this is, how do I, as a first-year originator, provide value to other people who are doing ancillary things to what we do? Okay. So as I look at this, I go, okay, well, I can help with insurance agents. I can help with,
financial advisors.
I can help with CPAs. I can help with a lot of different areas. That never even entered into my mindset, into the equation when I started this.
Yes.
So now I'm sitting here talking to insurance agents about, well, I can help you because you're writing life insurance probably. I'm going to find out in my interview process with a younger first-time home buyer, how much life insurance do you have? And if you don't have enough, do you have somebody that you can go to? If you don't, I've got people I can turn you to. I just dealt with a business client on a DSCR loan the other day. He has a bookkeeper, but he doesn't have a CPA. So I connect the two of them because he's doing his own taxes, which for me is a recipe for disaster.
You're going to make a mistake, right?
Yeah. And you talk about financial planners, they love us because when we do that refi, we're freeing up some money in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And the key to it is, for me, is, okay, a lot of people want a refi when the time is right, but they're doing it so they can free up more cash to go spend it on other stuff instead of doing the right thing with that freed up cash. And so I'm really quick on people like that, younger people. If they're not saving enough, they think their 401's good enough. They're going to find out later on at my age that it's not good enough. You got to do other things. And so I've got a really good friend of mine who's a financial planner, who's actually a NFL referee. And so I connect the two of them. So most of the time they're sports lovers. So it gives it kind of a double whammy with that. So I'm doing my best to try to create an entire picture here. You talked about, managing debt, which is what we really are doing here.
Right.
If you're not helping them manage that, and you're not giving them other avenues and other opportunities to be able to do things with their money that they could not have thought on their own, then we're not serving them correctly.
It starts with being interested in the customer, right? Because you don't find any of those things you just talked about. You're talking about building out a team who can give financial advice and make sure that client is in a better place. But you have to start by asking those questions to uncover those opportunities. So it starts with being interested in them instead of trying to be interesting. Getting into a real connection and conversation with them where you have permission to start talking about these kind of deeper level things, and the walls come down, and all of a sudden you're the go-to guy. And that's a relationship. So it's amazing to me that you've come as far as you have in a year, Scott. I mean, just kudos to you. It's truly remarkable.
This journey is only beginning. I'm 65, but I'm not even well, we have a rule in my house that I didn't know about until I sold my companies last year. That honestly, Josh, probably rocked my world. Is my wife is 10 years younger, and she came up with a new rule in our house: if I work, you work. So I'm not going anywhere till I'm at least 70. So I might as well do something.
Might as well have fun. Well, based on the success that you're having so far this year, I think you need to get into the leadership and team building disciplines inside the Loan Atlas, because I think you're going to be building a team around you pretty soon, my friend.
That is on the very short-term goal here right now. Yeah.
Yeah. As the entrepreneur you are, I'm sure it is. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing so generously. I'm going to give you the closing thought. Anything you want to share with the Loan Atlas community before we let you go?
So we talked a lot about, the educational piece. Here's the one thing that you can't sleep on when you're coming here. If you're just coming into this business to make money, you're coming into this business for the wrong reason. You've got to be willing to invest in yourself and in your business. I've got so many tools. I probably have too many. I'm probably spending way too much money on tools right now, but I can promise you the MBS Highway and the Loan Atlas are not two of the things that I shouldn't be spending money on. I think a lot of people look at it as an expense instead of an investment.
That's right.
And I'm big in personal development. I love Robbins. I love all these people that really can feed yourself. I'm big into that. And so this kind of fits that mold. So be willing to invest not only in yourself, but into your business and into your future clients.
Scott, you're a gem. Thank you for being a part of the Loan Atlas family, my friend.
I appreciate it, Josh. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor.